Mr Pen pens are marketed as Bible highlighters, but I've been using them completely differently to draw writing lines in my journals. And honestly, they may be my new favourites. Hello, I'm Julie and I'm a planner and creative journaler who loves using pen on my pages to add some colour. Recently, I bought this set of 16 pens from Amazon to see how well they would work in my journals and whether they're worth the price. I couldn't find any reviews online of this particular set, so I thought I would do one in case you are looking for new pens to try in your journal. So this is the Morandi set. You get 16 assorted colours and they look like quite muted tones, which I personally love for my journal because I had been using zebra mild liners and some of the colours on the pages were quite dark and drew attention away from the decoration. In case you've not heard of Mr Pen, it's actually a US brand founded by teachers in Louisiana, originally focused on affordable school and Bible stationery. Let's open up the pack and I'll show you one of the pens so you can see it nice and close. First and most obvious thing is that they look different to other pens because they are square. This means, of course, they don't roll around on your desk and they're meant to be quite comfortable to write with, which at first I was concerned about because, let's face it, round pens have been around for a very long time, so I did wonder if this was a shape that would actually work. They do look very stylish and modern, but if that comes at the expense of comfort, that would be no good to me. However, I have to say, so far I've had no problems using them. They actually feel fine to grip and I haven't really noticed the difference between the square and the round pens. They have a cap which comes off fairly easily and they have a chisel tip, which hopefully you can see. One thing I've noticed when I've been using these pens is that the tip is quite flexible, which makes it really nice to use. It has made me wonder how long these pens will actually last, but I do like the feel of them when I slide them across the page. The cap is nice and easy to click back on, and on the body it just says Mr Pen on one side. There are no colour names on the pens at all, which is a little bit of a shame. I did try to do a search to find out if they had any colour names, but they tend to come in sets with colour names rather than individual colour names. They're quite well packaged, sorry about the glare. So you could keep them in this pack. They slide in and there is a little hole for them to fit in, but it can be a little bit fiddly getting them back. But I know lots of you like to store your pens in containers for easy access. So I'm not sure whether or not I will be keeping them like this. Now the colours you see on the pack do not look exactly the same as the colours that I was seeing on my Amazon screen when I ordered this set, so I'm quite interested to see how the colours compare to the colour on the body of the pen. I'm going to swatch them out first on some 160 GSM dot grid paper because that's mainly what I'm going to be using them on, but I'm also going to swatch them on some Happy Planner paper too because I will be using these for lines in my Happy Planner. I do need to give a shout out to Nellie from Be Planner Happy because I saw her using them in her YouTube videos and thought they looked really nice, so I wanted to give them a try. Now usually I use a ruler to draw my lines, but for this swatch I am just going to draw them freehand. So you can see that you can get a thick line, a thin line, and then I have actually shown you how writing looks with the thin line of the pen. that's how all the colours look. Really, really pretty combination of colours. My favourite is probably the purple and the blues. I will mainly be using them to draw thick lines, but it's good to know that if I wanted to, I could draw thinner lines and even write with them, but I'm probably not going to use them for that. I wouldn't expect any bleed through on 160 GSM paper, but there is none at all. But we will try on the Happy Planet paper in a moment, which is a lot thinner. There were a couple of surprises with the colours that came out compared to the colours on the barrels. This one I wasn't expecting to come out quite that sort of pinkish tone. And then this one, I really wasn't expecting this colour. I'm not even sure how to describe that colour, but it looks very similar to this colour. And yet if you look at the colours on the barrels, they are completely different. So I would say these two don't really represent the colour that is coming out on the page. I would say with the exception of the top two and the bottom one, they are nice and muted colours that really won't distract from the decoration on my pages. So that's exactly what I was looking for. I will say when I first looked in the box and saw these two, I thought these are exactly the same colour. The same with these two, and these two. And on the box it only says assorted colours. It doesn't actually say anywhere 16 different colours. So I began to wonder if there were some duplicates in the pack. I've done a little search online and all I could find out was that supposedly all the colours are different, but with such slight variations that it can be difficult to tell. So I doubt you can tell on camera much difference between those two. These two, and these two. I certainly can't. So bear that in mind if you're looking for 16 very different shades. You're not going to get that in this particular pack. They were super smooth to draw the thick lines with. There is a tiny little bit of colour pooling at the top when I finished the stroke. And when I show you my journal a little bit later, I have noticed that as I'm drawing, there seems to be some pooling at the start, but nothing major. Let's quickly show you on the Happy Planet paper. So here they are swatched out on some Happy Planet paper. I will say that the quality of Happy Planet paper has gone down over the years. Definitely not as good as it was when I started with Happy Planet in 2018. And sometimes there's a difference between the paper you get in the planners compared to things like Happy Notes and filler paper. But overall, this is thinner paper than the dot grid that I was trying in my journal. So let's have a look. But we are still getting zero ghosting or bleed through with those pens. So that's good to know. I mainly use them for lines in my Skinny Mini Happy Planner. The colours don't look much different when I look at the two swatches that I've done. And price wise, they work out as slightly over £1 for each pen. So they're very affordable. What I like about them is the range of colours and the fact the colours in this particular set are very muted. They are really smooth when I'm drawing the lines. And there are quite a lot of different colour sets out there. They have pastel colours and the sets usually come in packs of 8, 12 or a couple of them are 16 like this one. They have a vibrant set which I shied away from because I wanted something more muted. The boho colours I was tempted by. There's also dreamy colours. Earthy colours was another one that I considered. Then they also have friendly colours, muted pastels and pastel candy. They are very quick drying, which is great because when you're drawing the lines in your pages, you really don't want to have smudges. The only time I've had smudging in my planner was because I use a ruler, and if you get pen on the ruler and then drag it down the page, then you will get some smudging. So I've learnt my lesson and I'm more careful about cleaning my ruler when I draw my lines from now on. The only thing I don't like is the fact that I was surprised that some of the colours were so similar in the set, and the fact that they don't have colour names. So I'm not really sure if I buy any of the other packs whether those are unique colours to those packs or whether I'm going to end up getting repeats. So if you do know, let me know in the comments whether all the colours are unique to the packs that you buy, because I'm definitely thinking of buying some more of these because I'm loving using them in my journal. Obviously, if you want to use these as highlighters, they're perfectly good for that. And I know there have been lots of positive reviews online about the fact that they don't bleed through very thin Bible paper. Let me show you another page in my journal where I use them. And one thing I did notice that I mentioned earlier, that the ink does seem to pool a little bit when you first start, maybe because I'm not moving the pen fast enough. So on these blue lines you can see that the beginning is a little bit darker than how it is at the end, but that doesn't bother me. It may just be user error. So if you are someone who likes to draw lines in your journal to write on and have been using maybe zebra mild liners, you might want to give these Mr Pen pens a try. But let me know in the comments which are your favourite pens for using in your journal, what you think of Mr Pen pens if you use them, and how well they hold up over time, and whether you'd like me to do a direct comparison with the zebra mild liners in terms of colours, price and quality. Thanks for joining me for this quick video. And if you're not subscribed to my channel but enjoy seeing creative content such as window pages, Dutch door pages and tab pages, then do subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so you can find out when my next video is posted. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye for now.